right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
We're just minutes away from ringing in 2024. The New Year's Eve celebrations tonight in St. Louis, and the calls to do so with caution.
Well, we got into the 40s, which once again is above average for this time of the year on our final day of 2023. Where that stands for our overall averages and what we can expect for the first week of 2024.
Our top story, tragedy tonight in Lincoln County. A teenager is dead.
As it is a juvenile, and it's extremely unfortunate to see.
Investigators say he was shot and killed during a domestic disturbance. Good evening, I'm Mark Maxwell. Mike Bush has this New Year's Eve off. A sad ending to 2023 in rural Lincoln County. A shooting happened this morning at a home on Dodson Road. That's outside Troy on the east side of Quiver River State Park. 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall talked with the detectives to get their latest on that investigation.
The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call around 10:30 Sunday morning at a home along Dodson Road. A 16-year-old boy died. Investigators say he was shot during a domestic disturbance.
It's tragic, obviously. We hate to see his life taken from him so soon.
As of now, police aren't certain where the gun came from or who it belonged to. It's believed there were 5 people inside the home when shots were fired. No one else was injured. When asked about the frequency of domestic disturbances in the Troy area, especially during this time of year,
I wouldn't say that it's something that is like often seen. I mean, we get our fair share of domestic disturbances. It's really kind of a case-by-case situation, whether or not it escalates to a situation that we're in right now.
Police say all parties involved in the teen's fatal shooting have been accounted for and were transported here to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, where they were interviewed as the investigation unfolds. The Sheriff's Office is working closely with the Lincoln County Coroner's Office as the investigation continues.
Our main focus really is getting to the bottom of exactly what happened.
Reporting in Troy, Annie Krall, 5 on Your Side.
While there is no current threat to the community, anyone with information about the case is asked to call the Sheriff's Office tip line. That number is on your screen, 636-462-6513. Those lost to violence in St. Louis in 2023 were remembered today. Mothers advocating for safer streets held a memorial service at Williams Temple Church. St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones, Police Chief Robert Tracy, and Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore and other community leaders were there. The mayor says gun violence impacts nearly everyone in the city, herself included.
Gun violence touches our entire region. It touches the lives of everyone who calls St. Louis home. Whether you knew the victims or not, we know that they were someone's child, somebody's parent, aunt, uncle, cousin, or friend.
The service included a candle lighting for each victim of a homicide in 2023. That number is nearly 160 people. That's down from about 200 last year. And here's a look at some of the fireworks we saw earlier tonight in downtown St. Louis to celebrate another year wrapped up and a new one right around the corner. We're joining Gary Frank now for one of our final weather first forecasts of the year. Gary, what are we looking at as we step into this 2024?
Yeah, I think some people walking around a little cold outside, and that's kind of what we would expect for the end of December, but it's not been really indicative of what we've had most of the year. I think we can all attest to, and I have more on that here coming up shortly. Clouds have exited, snow showers in central Indiana. They're so far away from us, but clouds are around still. And as we look downtown where I saw the reflection of some of those fireworks earlier, temps at 36 degrees. We haven't gone all that far. Our low so far has been 35. We may drop another degree or two, but a northwest breeze at around 10 miles an hour. I think overall it's going to continue to lighten up. Those breezes will continue to be more on the metro east side. As we go over the next several hours, expect winds to lighten up. Our wind chills are still around 25, even 23 in Litchfield, so it depends on where you are. And tonight it's calmer. 29 degrees, 30 degrees, very close to it with a northwest breeze at 5 miles an hour. Calmer conditions now, but I'm looking ahead to 2024 and some changes. I also want to bring you up to speed on some interesting facts from 2023 as we wrap up the weather year here coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Here's a live look now at Times Square in New York City, where in just minutes, the iconic crystal ball will drop and ring in the new year for folks in the Eastern time zone. And in about an hour from now, it'll be our turn to welcome in 2024. St. Louisans are ringing in the new year with celebrations all over town. Two big ones right at the heart of the city. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski talked with revelers saying farewell to 2023.
I'm really excited to go ice skating.
Families bundled up and headed to Winterfest to say goodbye to 2023.
And we're meeting other friends down here. We're waiting to go ice skating. What a beautiful event that St. Louis is doing for families.
In addition to ice skating, they had food, music, and fire dancers. But most importantly, families got quality time together.
It is really great to be with family, and my family's here. As cold as it is, it warms you up. Just think about the fact that it's family time and you're building those memories that the kids gonna remember for the rest of their lives, and that's what it's about.
While many families celebrated the last day of 2023 here at Winterfest, others are ringing in the new year at Ballpark Village with a St. Louis-style ball drop.
It's wonderful to see all these people coming together in large amounts. You know, a few years ago we weren't able to have these celebrations, so being able to have these celebrations is something we cherish and something we want to take advantage of. And
for one couple, 2023 was a second chance to reignite an old love story.
We had dated 27 years ago, and he lives in Wisconsin, I live in Indiana, and you know, social media. So he messaged me and I ignored him. And then 8 days later I answered him and I said, hey, what's going on, whatever. And here we are. Like, that was 5 weeks ago, and now here we are tonight.
And many have high hopes for 2024.
Hoping this year brings more peace and lots of joy and lots of good things for our family.
We definitely want to do more in 24, and that might cause for us to walk through a new door, and that's all right, because that's what it's all about. If you're not growing, you're not living. So we got to grow.
Happy New Year's Eve!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Reporting in St. Louis, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And to end this year on the right note and keep other people safe, police and neighbors are urging everyone to celebrate safely and not fire celebratory gunshots into the air. Not only is it illegal, it can be dangerous. What goes up must come down. And we're not the only ones looking forward to a bright and shiny new year. Cities around the world already lit up their skies tonight. Here's a look at a fireworks display in beautiful Sydney, Australia. One of the first places in the world where the clocks struck midnight, and celebrations made their way westward from there. At around 10 a.m. our time, Hong Kong was closing out its night and celebrating its new year. At 3 p.m., Qatar held its celebration. France was shooting off fireworks when it was 5 p.m. for us, and then Great Britain ringing in the new year an hour later at 6. From political shakeups in the circuit attorney's office to an inaugural season of professional soccer, there was no shortage of news to cover around our area in 2023. 5 on your side's Tracy Henson has a review of some of the top stories of this last year.
Everybody wants to see the city do better. There's a lot
2023 started off with a new police chief. A month later, Janae Edmondson was critically injured walking back to her hotel from a volleyball tournament.
The Attorney General, as others, used this unfortunate incident and tragic happening to this young lady as a political stunt.
This is not about politics. This is about the rule of law and justice.
The Circuit Attorney's Office appears to be a rudderless ship of chaos.
But guess what? You can't take me out.
That was the last we'd hear from Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. She resigned in a written statement.
The Cardinals' miseries continue. They've lost 12 of 14.
They're not happy.
No, they weren't. It was not a good year for Cardinals fans. But there was this.
Oh, say, can you see?
There were a lot of eyes on that, but there were also a lot of eyes on this.
If anybody sees this suspect, call 911. Let us know his location.
Tommy Wayne Boyd was found. He wasn't the only escapee in St. Louis this year.
I will never forget this day that the bear escaped the zoo.
Ben the Andean bear had to move to a different zoo. The zoo also broke the news that beloved Raja the elephant has to move too.
Well, all of the females that are of reproductive age are his daughters. So it's time for him to move on and start a new family.
Raja still has another year or so left in St. Louis. That wasn't the case for this next guy.
One of the things that has been removed from the equation that we can focus on, it was the head coach.
Sports wasn't all bad.
I think you can see we've garnered respect around the league.
And now we're the Cotton Bowl champs, MIZ. Congratulations.
It was a great way to end the year. Cheers to 2023. Tracy Henson, 5 on your side.
A great way indeed. And straight off that Cotton Bowl victory today, Mizzou announced it's rewarding head coach Eli Drinkwitz with a pay raise and contract extension through 2028. Tonight, we know the St. Louis Battlehawks will be part of the newly merged United Football League. The Battlehawks is one of 5 XFL teams joining 3 USFL teams. St. Louis drew crowds double the size of the rest of the XFL. The UFL will kick off in late March. Corey Miller will have much more later on in Sports Plus.
As this system moves out, it finally gives us a calmer day. Tomorrow we'll start to warm back up, but it's the overall pattern change as we see multiple Pacific systems and a dive of cold air. What that means as we start off the first or even second week of 2024.
And those wintry days of January may have you warming up in a car. Tonight, our Verified team has a warning about letting your engine idle in the ice cold. Tonight, we're learning more about a car crash that stemmed from a police pursuit and landed a local figure skating coach in the hospital. 21-year-old Brandon Dorsey has now been charged with fleeing police while creating a risk of injury or death. Maria Dolores Solorio Gummersell suffered multiple fractures throughout her body after her car was T-boned at Market and Grand back on December 16. Police are now investigating a body found in North St. Louis as a homicide. A man was found dead yesterday morning on Planned Industrial Drive near Natural Bridge. He's been identified as 20-year-old Camonte Black. Investigators say he suffered a head injury. A new year means more than 300 new laws in Illinois. Here's just a few of them that will go into effect tonight at midnight. An assault weapons ban preventing the sale of several types of semi-automatic weapons means current gun owners will need to register those weapons with the state. A new book banning law will threaten to defund schools if they ban books. And the Illinois Department of Transportation will launch a new app showing updated traffic conditions throughout the state. In Missouri, most new laws take effect 90 days after the end of the legislative session, not necessarily the beginning of the new year. The thought of getting into a frozen car may send a chill down your spine. Tonight, our Verified team tells us why you should pump the brakes on letting your engine idle on a cold winter's day. If you're like many people, as temperatures drop this winter, you might start your car for a few minutes before you get in. Tonight, Brandon Lewis from our Verified team has a warning about warming up your car.
No one enjoys getting into an ice-cold car or starting their commute with a frosted windshield. So many people start their car and leave it idling to warm up the inside and melt off any ice, while others do it because they've heard it's better for the engine to let it warm up. One Verified viewer asked us whether this practice could actually do more harm than good. So let's verify. Our sources are the U.S. Department of Energy, the Utah Department of Environmental Quality, Firestone Complete Auto Care, Smart Motors Toyota, Napa Auto Parts, and William Northrop, a professor of mechanical engineering at the University of Minnesota. All of our sources agree that when it's cold outside, the best practice for cars built after the 1980s is to run your engine for around 30 seconds before driving off. This is the most fuel-efficient strategy, and it's the best for the long-term health of your engine. In practice, though, we've all experienced those extra cold mornings with snow piled high on the roof and stubborn ice on the windshield. Firestone suggests your cold day driving routine should look something like this. Bundle up, start the car, scrape the ice off the windows and mirrors, get in the car, and get going. However, if you routinely leave your car idling for extended periods of time, then the Utah Department of Environmental Quality warns you can damage the cylinders, spark plugs, and exhaust systems. Not to mention, it'll cost you more in gas. So, yes, excessive idling to warm up your car before driving can do more harm than good. If you remember needing to warm up cars in the past, that was the case before the 1980s, when cars used carburetors to regulate the amount of air and fuel in the engine. Back then, if you didn't warm up the engine before driving off, the car could stall out. Modern engines use electronic fuel injection systems, which don't need to be warmed up in cold weather. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
The more you know. If you have something you want us to check out, just send us an email at verify@ksdk.com. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with our last Weather First forecast of 2023, and what a year it was, Gary.
We made it.
We made it.
What can we say? We made it. And you know what? If you're up here at 11 o'clock after this football game, you will listen to what we have to say, right? You got to listen to us. And we're going to talk about all the stuff that went on in 2023. It's a pretty quiet night. The airport's pretty quiet so far. And, you know, temperatures have not been all that warm today. We did sneak into the 40s, believe it or not. 36, a northwest breeze at 9 miles an hour. Our high, 42. Our normal, 41. Somehow we're above average. Key for me, this is what I'm going to continue to talk about. 35 our low so far, and we may drop another degree before midnight. But our normal's 25. How often have we been there? We just have not. And that's why it's been a warm year. This is going to be the second warmest year on record in St. Louis with an average temperature of 60.4. That's going to be number 2 here overall. And I think what you're going to see here as our year in view is 104 degrees was our warmest on August 25th. Our coldest was only 11 degrees all year long with over 33 inches of precipitation. That was the 37th driest, 6th lowest snowfall. And we didn't get all that much snow. We've talked about that of recent. Obviously, last year was a warm winter, but we haven't seen that much snow now. And it's the 6th lowest over a calendar year. Typically, we talk about them from about October to March or April, maybe. But, man, we have not seen much snow. And so, honestly, one thing that stood out to me the most was only 3 times in history. I looked at this because I couldn't believe we only got to 11 degrees. Only 3 times in history has our lowest temperature of the year been over 10 degrees. We had 13 as our lowest in 2012. No surprise, we're making correlations between 2012 again. 12 degrees in 1921 and 11 in 2023. So, pretty impressive. These stats are back to 1874. So when you look at that, that's why it's pretty impressive. So why is it so warm? Well, you know, overall, it's not been a very cold winter, and we've seen our overnight lows not only in the winter, but in the summertime be much above average. And of course, the drought doesn't help, so it warms up pretty quickly. So what's in store for us now? Cloud cover, quiet conditions. We'll still see one more day of cold air that settles in, and our wind chills will be around the 20s on Monday morning. Wind will eventually shift out of the west-southwest and warm us up. For tomorrow, though, we're in the upper 30s with a northwest breeze at 5 to 10 miles an hour. As this warmer air settles in, we'll start to see a more active pattern with one system that arrives in the Pacific for the weekend. But I'm watching by next week. That's where we're really going to buck this trend of much above average, because we're going to start to see colder air. And here's the 10-day forecast. 41, 48 our warmest of the next 7. And then we're in the low 40s, our next chance for rain, maybe a few flakes of snow on Saturday. But look at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A real signal for real cold air and maybe a few flakes of snow.
It's time to go on the move. You know, you're seeing year-end lists everywhere. I have one for you too. The top 3 largest road construction projects happening right now for 5 on Your Side viewers. These are the 3 most likely problem spots on the Mount Rushmore of road work. Of course, the I-55 bridge overpass reconstruction debacle tops our list. 55 from South City to Lindbergh, where the contractor damaged the existing girders. New ones need to be fabricated, delivered, and installed, which means you'll experience lane closures through 2025. Number 2, out to St. Charles County we go. The existing projects around I-70 in Wentzville, and soon to be 3 projects tied into one for the I-70, 6440 widening and updates to improve those areas. Number 3, road construction takes us to the Metro East and a big cluster of road work on 255 up to the 64 interchange in and just north of St. Clair County. The completion date is late spring of 2024. All of this can be a challenge, but I'll be right here working to help you through it with the lowest possible delay in your day. Paul Cook, 5 on Your Side.
A little fun at the Magic House to round out the year. The New Year's Eve party families didn't have to stay up late for. While many of us are trying to stay up late to ring in this new year, some people got a bit of a head start. The Magic House hosted this family-friendly New Year's Eve party today at noon. Kids could enjoy a dance party, photo booth, and even an indoor snowball fight. And parents said it was a great opportunity to get their kids out and about, and it didn't keep them up past their bedtime. All right, thanks for joining us on 5 on Your Side at 10. Corey Miller will be here in just a few minutes with Sports Plus. Have a safe and happy New Year.
They lit up the Christmas tree downtown. Sparkly lights that fill the season. Anticipation, celebration, I hear